calling all forward-thinking estheticians. It's time to redefine the art of skincare and embrace a revolutionary approach that begins with your client's skin cell health. I'm pharmacist Ben Fuchs, welcoming you to Truth Treatment Systems, where beauty begins at the cell. We believe you're not just a beauty professional, you are a healthcare professional. You want to make a positive difference and you want to make a good living, and we will help you do both. We're here to support your out-of-the-box thinking and empower you to question traditional products, outdated formulations, and old-school ingredients. Imagine a world where solutions to the skin's enigmatic conditions lie just beyond the horizon. At Truth, we're not just a skincare brand, we're a movement that encourages you to explore better solutions and find that aha moment that changes the game. You are an artist and a healer of the skin, and we're here to provide the canvas and the tools for you to create tailored protocols, leaving generic ones in the past. Sign up now at truthtreatmentspro.com and receive 2 complimentary mineral-rich electrolyte sheet masks. That's truthtreatmentspro.com, where healthy skin is beautiful skin.
This podcast is sponsored by LAMPROBE. LAMPROBE is a popular aesthetic tool that enables skincare practitioners to rapidly treat a wide variety of common minor skin irregularities, or MSI. Red MSI treated by LAMPROBE include dilated capillaries and cherry angiomas, yellow MSI, cholesterol deposits and sebaceous hyperplasia, and brown MSI treated include skin tags and more. LAMPROBE MSI treatments are non-invasive and deliver immediate results. LAMPROBE can empower your skin practice with these new and highly in-demand services. For more information, visit lamprobe.com. That's LAMPROBE.com. And follow LAMPROBE on social media at LAMPROBE.
Hello and welcome to ASCP and the Rogue Pharmacist with Benjamin Knight Fuchs. In each episode, we'll explore how internal and external factors can impact the skin. I'm Maggie Stasek, ASCP's Education Program Manager, and joining me is Ben Fuchs, skincare formulator and pharmacist. Hey, Ben.
Hello, Maggie.
The inclusion of melatonin in topical skincare products is one of the newest beauty trends right now. Why is this becoming so popular?
New? I've been doing melatonin for a long time. Melatonin is a protective molecule. It is a powerful, powerful antioxidant, and it's a powerful mitochondrial protector. Now, you've probably heard of the mitochondria, the so-called energy bodies inside of a cell. It's the mitochondria that turn the food we eat into energy. Mm-hmm. And consequently, there's a lot of scattered electricity in the mitochondria, a lot of sparks. Basically, mitochondria are taking the food you eat and turning it into electronic energy, which then gets turned into something called ATP. And because there's so much electricity and electronic action that's occurring in the mitochondria, they're susceptible to damage, oxidation. And one of the ways the body will protect the mitochondria is with melatonin. So in addition to melatonin being protective topically, and that's why it's in skincare products, it's also protective for skin cells in terms of its ability to protect the mitochondria. And we know that mitochondrial aging or mitochondrial senescence is behind a lot of health problems in general, and specifically a lot of skin problems. So by virtue of melatonin's ability to protect mitochondria, you get skin health benefits, but also by virtue of its ability just to protect the organ, the skin, you get protective benefits as well. And when I talk about protective benefits, I'm not only talking about sun protection or electronic protection, protection from cigarette smoke, protection from carbon monoxide, protection from any kind of pollutants that are in the air. So you get overall protective effects from melatonin. But there's a lot more. And by the way, most people know about melatonin, obviously, for sleep. And it's really very helpful for sleep, not for staying asleep, but for getting you to sleep. A lot of people will take melatonin and wake up in the middle of the night. And that's, you can't blame the melatonin for that, because the melatonin's job is to help you fall asleep, but not to help you stay asleep. That being said, melatonin is also important for protecting the brain. So for older folks, as people get older, they tend to make less melatonin. So melatonin has overall anti-aging properties when taken internally. Melatonin's main role, or probably one of its main roles, we'll say, in the body is in the digestive tract. And melatonin has a general calming effect on the digestive tract. In fact, melatonin is a calming molecule. That's how it achieves its protective benefits, is by calming things down. Inflammation, oxidation, photo damage, or UV radiation from the sun, these are all very, very stimulating. Melatonin, by virtue of its calming effects, has protective benefits for the skin, but also inside the body. In fact, there's a really interesting relationship between melatonin and serotonin. Serotonin is a daytime hormone that helps you deal with daytime stresses. It's a vigilance hormone. It keeps you vigilant. In fact, if you're making too much, if you're not making, but if you're taking drugs that keep your serotonin levels high, you may experience paranoia or you may experience hypervigilance. All this is to say is serotonin is a stimulating hormone. It's not a happy hormone. It's a vigilance hormone. It makes you aware. Well, melatonin is the opposite of serotonin. It antagonizes serotonin. So for people who are dealing with anxiety issues or dealing with a nervousness or insomnia, melatonin is the perfect remedy. It helps balance out the hypervigilant effects that serotonin has. And this balancing effect is especially important for the digestive system. So melatonin can be used to treat irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, diarrhea, chronic diarrhea, all of which are associated with serotonin. Using melatonin orally as a medicine can help balance out some of the effects of serotonin. From a topical perspective, you want to think of melatonin as protective. I use it in a product I call my dermal defense serum, which is a defensive product. Melatonin also has, believe it or not, has sun protection properties. In fact, the word melatonin comes from the word melanin. Melatonin meaning it has skin pigmentation control or skin pigmentation regulating effects. So melatonin's antioxidant benefits may actually serve as a skin lightening. It may serve skin lightening benefits. So you get this incredible, well-rounded, defensive molecule that, like the Fulvics that we talked about earlier, is completely non-toxic. And as a pharmacist, I am always looking for ingredients that have benefits without toxicity. You know, in the pharmacy, there's tons of ingredients or drugs or medicines that have a therapeutic profile that will give you some kind of benefit or have some kind of biochemical change in the body that it will cause, presumably to heal or presumably to make you more comfortable, but they're all associated with toxicity. So drug companies and myself as a pharmacist and as a formulator are always looking for molecules that will give you benefits without toxicity. Melatonin fits the bill perfectly. It's already a component of the body. It has wonderful protective benefits, antioxidant benefits, anti-inflammatory benefits, even anti-cancer benefits, helps control skin pigmentation, helps support mitochondrial health, and it does it all in a completely non-toxic way.
Other than pigmentation, how else is melatonin applied topically? I assume calming or suppressing?
Inflammation. Yes, inflammation is always the enemy. I shouldn't say that. Excess inflammation is the enemy. Inflammation is actually a protective response. So inflammation is a good thing, but excess inflammation, chronic assault, is one of the ways we age. It's one of the leading causes of photo damage. It's one of the leading causes of fibroblastic fatigue of the fibroblasts. It's one of the main causes of changes in the cell membrane. Melatonin protects against all of that. That means it's going to have benefits for acne patients. It's going to have benefits for eczematic patients. It's going to have benefits for patients who have rosacea or dermatitis. It's going to have benefits for patients who have hyperpigmentation. And again, it does it all in a non-toxic fashion. And as if that weren't enough benefits, melatonin actually supports skin hydration and skin softness as well. It is the ultimate non-toxic, highly therapeutically valuable topical skincare ingredient. All of these benefits are from topical melatonin. Now, you'll probably get some benefits by taking melatonin orally. Taking the supplemental melatonin is a little bit tricky for younger people, and I'll tell you why. When you're younger and your body is making melatonin is made in the pineal gland. If you take exogenous hormones, you may end up suppressing your natural hormone secretion. So you got to be a little bit careful with melatonin taking it orally for younger people. You don't have to worry about that topically, but taking it orally. As we get older and we're not making as much melatonin anyway, it becomes a fabulously valuable supplement, not only for sleeping, but for relaxing. Not only for relaxing, but for protection against inflammation. And not only for protection against inflammation, but also protecting the mitochondria, which are obviously critical for cellular health. And mitochondrial deficiency or mitochondrial defects are now thought to be a leading cause of disease and cancer. Melatonin corrects all of that. And then on top of all that, you get digestive health benefits too. Oh, by the way, melatonin is actually made in plants. There's plant melatonin, and as you would expect, the role that they play in plants is the same role that melatonin plays on the skin, which is to protect the plant from both biotic assaults, which are bacteria and microbes and fungi, and abiotic assaults, which are mechanical assaults or ultraviolet assaults.
So you have mentioned the mitochondria. When you're applying melatonin topically, what exactly is happening on the cellular level?
Well, melatonin is very well handled by the skin. Melatonin has a certain degree of fat solubility as well as water solubility, and that allows it to penetrate. So presumably, when you put melatonin on top of the skin, you're going to get melatonin benefits at the level of the cell, which, as we all know, is located deep inside deep underneath the stratum corneum. You should be able to get some melatonin benefits for the mitochondria itself. And the literature on topical application of melatonin in terms of protecting the skin implies that you are going to get some cellular effects.
And applying it topically, however, it's not making you sleepy. This is only when you're taking it orally.
No, it's not going into the blood. That's a really good question, because a lot of times when we think transdermal penetration, we think that some of these ingredients are actually getting into the circulation.
Entering the bloodstream.
Entering the bloodstream, exactly. And entering the bloodstream is really, you got to be really deep in the dermis, relatively deep into the dermis to enter the bloodstream. That's not really going to happen. You might get some dermal effects for the fibroblasts, but you're probably not going to get much effect into the circulatory system.
So to clarify, melatonin is a hormone.
Melatonin is a hormone. That's exactly right. It's a peptide hormone. And as I say, it counteracts it counteracts serotonin, which is another peptide hormone. It's a neurohormone. It's associated with light-dark, the whole light-dark thing. It's made from serotonin during the day. And then at night, the melatonin that you made during the day helps you sleep. So if you have a serotonin problem, and a lot of people aren't making enough serotonin, you may have a melatonin problem as well. There are supplements you could take to support the building of melatonin as well as serotonin. One of the most important is an amino acid called tryptophan, which you probably heard of. Another one called 5-HT, and that was for a long time people were using that as an antidepressant because it helps you make serotonin. It doesn't really work that well as an antidepressant, but it may support the production of melatonin. And then niacin, vitamin B3, which has been used as an anti-anxiety treatment. Niacin is also very important for skin health as an anti-redness ingredient. Can also help you make melatonin by supplementing with niacin. And by the way, melatonin post-treatment has great anti-inflammatory properties and anti-redness properties. So after peels or after lasers, topical melatonin can help reduce some of the negative effects of procedures, and it can help speed healing. I don't know if you know this, but when folks get older, and by older, I'm not talking about me, although I'm getting older, I mean like 70s and 80s, that kind of thing. Cortisol levels go up and anxiety issues can increase, and also insomnia problems happen when people get older. A lot of that has to do with cortisol, and a lot of that has to do with chronic inflammation. Melatonin, by virtue of its ability to balance out cortisol, help you fall asleep, and its anti-inflammatory effects it's really a nice supplement taken internally for older folks.
That concludes our show for today, and we thank you for listening. But if you just can't get enough of Ben Fuchs, the ASCP's Rogue Pharmacist, you can find him at truthtreatments.com. For more information on this episode or for ways to connect with Ben Fuchs or to learn about ASCP, check out the show notes.